The presidential campaign year is set to open in less than a month, and President Obama has come to Osawatomie, Kansas. It has been a long year for the president, endless and fruitless budget battles with the Republicans in Congress, unexpected political setbacks that left him in a funk, and worst of all, a stubborn economy that has not responded well to his policies. Unemployment stands at 8.6%. By numbers political strategists watch closely, he is as vulnerable as any president seeking re-election in 2 decades. His presidency, which began with themes of hope and change, is at risk. He is no longer the bright and shining politician who captivated the nation 4 years earlier. The once aspirational candidate of 2008 is now scarred by his battles with a militant and hard-right Republican opposition that has decided to no longer play by the old rules. His presidency has left the country even more deeply polarized than it was under George W. Bush. Many voters recognize the obstacles that Republicans have put in his path, and yet they wonder why this president, who offered so much promise, has not found a way to make the system work. No one is quite sure who he is or what he really wants to fight for. The president needs a fresh start and a sharper edge. He needs a new way to set the terms for the coming re-election campaign. He has come to Osawatomie because it was where a century earlier President Theodore Roosevelt delivered his famous New Nationalism speech. In this same small town, Roosevelt argued that a strong federal government was necessary to protect ordinary citizens from the destructive power of big corporations. Obama carries with him the text of a speech that seeks to build on the foundation laid by that trust-busting Republican president. He wants to frame the choice for the 2012 election as one of the biggest in a generation, a collision between competing philosophies about the economy, the role of government, and the well-being of the struggling middle class. He talks about income inequality and says, "This is a make-or-break moment for the middle class and all those who are fighting to get into the middle class." Of the Republican approach, he says this: "It doesn't work. It's never worked." This Obama is different from the one the country has seen, the assertive progressive many of his followers have been looking for. He has set the terms of the campaign on populist themes, drawing the starkest of contrasts with the Republicans who have countered his every move for 3 years. He has found the ground on which to run. The day marks the real opening of what will be a high-stakes re-election campaign. The Challenger, May 17, 2012. Mitt Romney is in Boca Raton, Florida. It has been a month since he freed himself, finally, from a long and destructive battle for the Republican nomination. The last of his rivals has been vanquished, the last in a string of candidates who rose unexpectedly, one after another, to challenge him for a nomination that seemed from the beginning almost within his grasp. In winning, he demonstrated that he understands many of the new rules of presidential politics, especially the importance and power of money. He has shown resilience and ruthlessness, qualities that any challenger to a sitting president will need. But the primary campaign has left nagging questions about Romney. Inside his party, there is still a noticeable lack of enthusiasm for the candidate. Obama, not their nominee, is the great unifier among Republicans. The former governor also is not very well known throughout the country, despite having run for the nomination in 2008 and having been in the public eye now for more than a year as he sought that prize for a second time. On the positive side of the ledger, he is seen as a devoted family man with a record of success in private business. On the negative side, he is seen as someone of such wealth and seeming privilege as to be a distant figure with whom voters cannot identify personally. Romney is banking his hopes of becoming president on the pervasive disappointment that so many Americans feel about the economy. His campaign is grounded in this idea that no matter how much people may like Barack Obama personally, they find him lacking as a leader. Romney has described the president as someone who doesn't understand how the economy works, whose policies are the antithesis of what is needed to get the engines of growth roaring again, and who is simply in over his head as a leader in a capital poisoned by partisanship. All that may be sound thinking, but only if the public warms up to him. He has come to Boca Raton, to the home of Mark Leader, a private equity manager with a flamboyant reputation. He has come to raise money which he desperately needs to replenish his campaign after the long nomination battle. About 150 people have paid $50,000 apiece to join the candidate for the evening, and as is customary, he takes questions from the audience. Someone points out